Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Tuesday, March 31st. We've got a little bit of another overnight of strength. We'll see if that holds today. The only thing I can think of different from today, from yesterday, is that this is the last trading day of the month, March 31st. So we may get a little bit of a rally just to see if they can improve the books and their holdings going into the end of the month. Maybe they get their monthly bonuses. Who knows? Hard to say with this kind of sell-off, right? The performance has been in the toilet. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's a little bit of strength. It was a pretty darn good rally going on then at the open in the overnight, right from the get-go. I tried to trade. I was late to that freaking thing. I missed a good chunk of it. I tried to get in late. I kind of scratched that trade. I'll show in a second. But that was a good rally at the early on in the evening yesterday. So now we're down here. They took it a little bit lower, 63.50s, and now they're heading back up again. We'll see if this turns into a little bit of a risk-on kind of a day. If that happens, the only thing I would consider there is the fact that there's in the month end coming up, and maybe want to look there the closing performance a little bit better than than if they just kind of sold right into it, right? So that's kind of where we start. Now, news this morning, we get housing data at 9. Nothing at 8:30, but housing data at 9. Chicago PMI at 9:45, consumer confidence at 10, and then job openings at 10. So that's what we got going there. A bunch of speakers in the afternoon, but so 9 and 9:45 and 10 we have news. I don't think any, maybe consumer confidence could be a number which moves the market. We'll see. But just be mindful, 9, 9:45 and 10. And other than that, I would start off, as I said before, range bound. I would watch these areas right now, that 64.95, 6,500 level. They start trading above that guy, and it's going to be a little bit higher than this. Yeah, there's going to be if they take out this area right there, the 64.80s, over the 80s is probably a good measurement, and then confirmation at 64.95. If they start taking out these two resistance areas, I think we may have a retracement trade going. It could look good for the end of that trading day like this. And in April, I don't know. I mean, they may sell everything again and go run and hide. So it's you never know. But it's we got the month end kind of today. May see a little bit of strength because of it. And if we don't, and then it's just kind of where we are. I would start off looking to sell strength still for rotations down. Given the overnight, I would look for early strength and see if they're going to do like a little crazy rally here, see if they can squeeze out some weak short positions. But again, I would look for short positions all the way up here, and until they start taking out this 65.30s, that resistance area right now, if that starts coming out, maybe we have a shot at a little bit more of a traction to the upside. But you never know. If they take that area out, the 65.30s, that's going to be these three levels up here. I think we may have a shot at some strength, and that would be a month-end closing strength, I would think. I'm not going to count on that on continuing. So that if you want to get out of positions, this would be your shot, I guess. The way I would look at it. But it's being pitted on to the downside. I saw that some news about how long they're going to stick around to open the Strait of Hormuz and all that stuff. And as usual, I mean, everything goes back to the oil prices and what happens in the Middle East. But what I heard is, what I read, is that they may just do the job and then leave the strait closed and let the people who need the oil there fight for it. That would be a novel approach, right? Instead of the US always staying there and doing all the work. I think Trump put a post on Truth Social about it, about, well, UK, you need your oil. Why don't you go down and show some strength instead of sitting there whining? So it is a novel approach. I have no idea how that's going to play out, but we'll see. Just keep an eye on the price of oil. That's going to be your tell. If the oil starts dropping in a rapid way, then you know that the whole thing is going to start recover. As long as there is concerns about the Strait of Hormuz, And what's going on there? The oil is going to stay high, and it's going to be leaning on the market. So in this way, I'm looking at it. So initially looking for the strength, looking for short setups against that 64.65s, 64.80s, 64.95s, about 95. Well, I say about 80s. I would probably start thinking long side of the market in the short term. That's the short term to see how far they want to run this. So if they start taking out this area now, the 64, 65, and the 80s, I'm thinking maybe try a long trade and see how far they want to run this. Because if that starts a little rally here today for like month end kind of a rally, that would be something you want to try to trade. Now, as you if you're in that kind of a trade, and the market really looks like it's rally, I'm still looking for short setups all the way up to this area, the 64, 65, 35s. So if they take out this whole area, then just going to hang on the long side. But this would be an area where I think they're going to hold the line if they run out of gas, or if they can't if there's not enough power, they're going to pretty much be running out of gas at this level. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now. And I would be a little bit, well, I say if I would try a long trade early on if it looks like it, or after they have taken out that 25 or 15 to 35, 65, 15 to 35 resistance areas here. So that's the way I'm looking at the ES right now. On the caveat right now is that month-end closing going to turn into a little bit of a rally, or are we going to see a little bit of strength and the regular shorts and the regular short setup, and then potential weakness in the afternoon? If we see weakness in the afternoon, I think yes, the weakness just continues into April, same as before, maybe even lower prices. So at this point, the market is just is down 10-15%, correction territory for sure. So yeah, we are in a correction right now. The Nasdaq, well, hang on the ES and on the ES on the way down. If they start heading lower, I'm not going to be very aggressive on the long side. I would look to buy against support 64.20s, 64.05s, 63.90s down to that 63.60s for rotations up with a big bunch of caution. So they start taking out this area, the 64.20s. I would stay on the short side, primarily try to get short for rotations down. Just be mindful, don't try to get short into support. That would be the caveat. And buying against that support area, very cautious at that point. But that would be after, if they take out that 64.20s, I would be in the camp that we're heading lower and trying to get on the short side of this. But early on here, given the overnight and little pop we had, let's see if that turns into some strength for the day session, or if they're just going to kind of just meander around here. On the Nasdaq, also a massive, brutal slaying on the Nasdaq. All my risk-on stocks are getting absolutely creamed, and that's just she should take out some options positions on them to protect some of that stuff. But I'm not holding stocks right now. Anyway, looking same story there. It's in nice strength. I mean, you saw how they took it even lower down here at the 20. They were below 23,000 yesterday, down to the 950, 22,950. That's pretty brutal. That's pretty freaking brutal. So 23 up to 20, like 3.5, 4,000 points down on the Nasdaq. Well, that's going to feel, especially on the AI trade where people are looking for an excuse to get out and rotate out of it. So, but they'll rotate right back into it as it keeps going. So you had to kind of believe in that long-term theme. That AI theme is going to stick around, even if you have trader or hedge funds or whatnot trading around it. So that's going to be something that they come back into, and then we're going to see big moves in that arena. Anyway, so looking to sell strength again, looking for early strength given the overnight. So looking to sell against strength 390s, the 440s, 520s, 560s, 600s up to that 650 area. Now I would say on the Nasdaq, I'm going to eye this area, the 500, 510s. Now, if they can get up above these two here, the yesterday's high and the 550s, these two resistance areas, they're going to clear that area right here, this resistance area. And if he can do that, I would be modestly optimistic for a long trade there. See if they can start retracing this to the upside. As you see, Nasdaq could swing pretty violently as well. So I'm thinking that this last run down here has shaken out a lot of positions, and a lot of people are freaking out on this whole thing. And so I think we may have a short-term bottom here. Um, it could be the strength could be as related to the end of the month and strength going into the close of this trading month, but it just had to see how the day ends. If you get that afternoon weakness, bets are off. We're going to have a weak start of April as well. If it can strong close to the upside, that's a strong day. We may have a little bit of leftover strength, which could turn into some more strength. You never know. So I'm going to trade this from look for early strength, trade it from the short, try to get started. I'm watching this level here, the 530s and the 570s for rotations down. If both of them comes out, I would probably stay on the long side at that point to see if how far they want to take it. And looking for a retracement trade up towards that 800 level at that point. So, but initially short setups against the 390s, 430s, 530s, 570s for rotations down. And these two resistance areas are the ones I'm watching for potential change in direction. And on the way down, looking to buy weakness, 240s, 130s, 23,095, 23,000. Gosh, down there. All with a bit of caution. If they take out that 250s on the downside, this support area, I would be more aggressive on the short side. See, I'm going to think short side of the market that they're heading back down towards the lows at that point. So that's the Nasdaq. Kind of not a make or break point, but I mean it could be an interesting day if we see some strength building for the month then. Not sure exactly what this whole stuff was going on here. It started at a big reaction here at 710. Some kind of headline came out, I guess. Positive, and then they kind of meandering back and forth a bit. I haven't heard any headline on that. And then finally on the bonds. One market to the upside, so that's a good sign. Yields coming down a bit, heading back up towards that 115. So yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. CHF2, F1, definitely support held at the 111s. We're heading back up towards that 114.15. That little mode here moved down a little bit, down here towards the, this is a long-term mode down to the 14.13. And here you have the shorter term mode at the 115.09s. So we are, attractor is going to be up here at 115.10s, and I think that's where we're heading right now. They just barely cleared this area, the 113.20s, so we'll see if they can hold that. If they can't hold it, chances are we might find ourselves right back. If I do this, you can see they're right up here. If they can't clear this area right now, the 114s, and start moving, I'm probably going to see them trade right back in this lower distribution. Attractor here is the 112.16, so that's where they will be heading next. So either I think they're heading up towards the 115s, or they're heading back down to that 112.16. So, but I'm starting from the long side on the bonds, given the last couple of days. So they're going to buy weakness against the 13.25s, 13.16s, 13.08s for rotations up. And I would say below that 13.16, probably start taking off the long bias, going back range bound. Below 13.08, I'm thinking short side of the market at that point. So that's the bond side of things right now. All right, so that's how we get started on the bonds. Haven't been taking any bond trades lately. Just waiting for my setups, Trying to be patient on the bonds. Bond you can't trade the same way. It's not in and out as quick, because you're really looking at a market which can get you caught in a really, they get you caught and they won't let you out. Let's put it that way. All right, back to the ES and Nasdaq, and here you go. Some stuff is going on because it is swinging back and forth. They still have this government shutdown going on. By the way, DHS shutdown, a lot of politics going on, politicking back and forth, and all that crap. It's I'm not going to get into that right now. It's not, I think, impacting the market directly, but it is a big black stain for I mean, unbelievable and dysfunction in that Congress. So so looking to sell strength on the ES and Nasdaq. Looking at trading from the long side to get started on the bonds. Let's see what happens. Alrighty, guys. We'll wrap it there. So good trading. I'll see you back at 11:30, and then let's see if we get a little bit of strength based on that month-end closing. I'm gonna be looking for it, and let's see if it develops or not. But I'm not necessarily trading from the long side right now until I see that strength really building. Alrighty, guys. We'll leave it there. I'll see you back at 11:30 later.